legacy. How will yours be defined? When they think of you, will it be of passion?
You got here for a reason.
Sacrifice.
The battle's on.
Greatness. Will you meet the moment to live amongst legends? Or watch as someone else's dream becomes reality?
This is what you dream about. You belong here.
Heroes are remembered, but legends live forever. Here at the NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championship.
From Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, this is championship weekend. Penn State rode a legendary comeback to get here. It has been a legendary player with a rich family legacy who has Cornell on the brink of its first national title in nearly a half century. Penn State, the 5 seed, rallied from 6 goals down in the quarters to take down two-time defending champion Notre Dame. Cornell needed a fourth-quarter comeback to get past Richmond. In our second semifinal, it'll be Syracuse and Maryland. And good afternoon, Anish Shroff, Paul Carcaterra, Quint Keshnick. Kark, if this tournament and this semifinal weekend is anything like what we've seen the last 2 weeks, we're in for a ride.
Anish, we went into quarterfinal weekend thinking all 8 teams could win. That held served. It lived up to the hype. Those games were 4-quarter slugfests. I expect more of the same on championship weekend, but I think this weekend will be defined by the star players.
And there's no bigger star, Quint, than C.J. Kirst of Cornell.
Cornell's the favorite. Why? Well, they've got the best player in the country playing attack, and that's C.J. Kirst. He has scored more goals than any player in college lacrosse history. He's a #1 pick in the PLL draft. His toolbox, it's got a little of everything, whether it be a wing shot, dodging, cutting, leading, ground balls, cause turnovers. He has been a man on a mission for the Big Red. Now on attack, he's flanked by great co-line mates. Michael Long, the brains of the operation. Ryan Goldstein, 50 assists. He's kind of the quarterback behind the net with his water bug quickness. You put it all together, and this team leads the country in goals per game.
It's the highest scoring attack trio in the country. All 3 of these players are All-Americans. Penn State reached championship weekend 2 years ago. The reason they're back, Matt Trainer.
Herculean effort by Trainer in the quarterfinals against the 2-time defending champs Notre Dame. 6 goals in the comeback. They were down 6. Give the rock to 22 and White. He will make it rain, slicing and dicing his way to championship weekend. He's the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year. He's the #6 overall pick in the PLL draft, a first-rounder for the New York Atlas.
And he did not play in Penn State's regular season win against Cornell. The connective tissue between these teams, Penn State head coach Jeff Tambroni. Dana Boyle with more.
Yeah, and Jeff Tambroni's stint in his 10 years as head coach at Cornell is certainly to be applauded. But when I spoke with Jeff Tambroni this week, he told me how filled with gratitude he is for his time spent in Ithaca. The administration took a chance on a 29-year-old and hired him as head coach. Him and his wife, Michelle, raised their 3 daughters in Ithaca. His daughter, Carissa, will actually make her return to Cornell this fall as part of the Cornell field hockey staff. Not to mention, Jeff Tambroni will be coaching against Connor Busick, current head coach of the Big Red, who Tambroni initially recruited to Cornell, but never actually got to coach before he departed Anish for the Penn State head coaching job.
Connor Busick, 31 years young. 3 years ago, he led Cornell to the national championship game. You see the 21 on his hat. That is for George Boyardi, Cornell defenseman who died after taking a lacrosse ball to the chest back in 2004 when Jeff Tambroni was the head coach. Penn State wins the opening faceoff. Reed Gills all the way to the cage, turned away by Wyatt Nust. An explosive start, loose ball in front early. And it comes back to the Nittany Lions, who can now settle on offense. John King off the ground, 33 in blue. Penn State, the only team to beat Cornell this season, and we get a quick whistle.
Cleaning up the trash in front of the net. During that skirmish, you see the long pole, titanium shaft breaking in half.
That was a big stop by Wyatt Nust. He struggled in the quarterfinal round against Richmond with only 5 saves, so his confidence early is massive for the Big Red.
Penn State back on March 8th. Beat Cornell, rallied from 4 goals down in the final 3 minutes. And an early turnover by the Nittany Lions. That is Cornell's lone loss this season. Somewhat fluky, but from the Penn State perspective, they did not have Matt Traynor, their best player. They didn't have Kyle Lehman, a starting attackman. And Penn State's goalie, Quint Kesnick, Jack Frassion, normally very good the last 2 seasons, struggled in that game.
Somewhat fluky is an understatement. That game,
yes.
The end of that game was bizarro world lacrosse.
And Frassion, the top goalie in the Big Ten the last 2 years. Numbers down this year, and he's been below 40% over his last 4 games. First touch for the great C.J. Kirst. Feeds Willem Firth. And he dives back to X. 51 in white, one of 5 All-Americans on the top 6 for Cornell. Here's big Hugh Kelleher with those bowling ball shoulders. Now Michael Long. Penn State, when they move the ball, it's like a symphony. Probing the perimeter. Kelleher, the Ivy League midfielder of the year, draws the double. They knock him backwards. 15 on the shot clock. Kirst. Over to Firth, working on Brendan Leary. His shot hits the skirt of the net, and Frassion fishes it out.
Penn State opening this game in man-to-man defense. You'll see some man-to-man, you'll see some zone. They put the pole on Kelleher, and they put the short stick on Willem Firth.
Aggressive on the perimeters, too. Getting in the hands of the Cornell offensive players, knowing that they love to distribute the rock.
In goal for Cornell, the Florida man, Wyatt Nust. He is from Tampa. Grew up playing baseball and basketball. Decided to give lacrosse a chance when he was 10 years old. Started as an attackman. His youth team had some issues in goal. His dad was the coach. He jumped into goal, and the rest, history. 12 in blue, Will Peden, senior, spark plug. Working on Charlie Box. Now Lehman, who again did not play in that first meeting against Cornell, defended by Brendan Staub.
This offense, they love 2-man pick-and-roll games, usually involving Lehman 4 or Traynor 22.
There is Matt Traynor, Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year, 6 goals in the quarterfinal win. Machetes through the Cornell defense, but lost the ball. Tries to keep it in bounds. The white lines represent the boundaries, and we get a shot clock violation, and they could have hit Penn State there with a delay of game.
Yeah, you have to drop the ball immediately for the restart for the opposition.
You see the yellow lines on the field. We have the Women's Championships taking place here at Foxborough this weekend as well. So the yellow lines for the women, we saw both Northwestern and North Carolina win in the semis yesterday.
That Northwestern BC game was epic. Northwestern coming back from 5 goals in the 4th quarter. Kelly Amante Hiller, Northwestern coach. Been at Northwestern 20 years. Championship weekend 11 times, 8-time national champ. She's back.
Second midfield gets its first run for Cornell. Now Kirst, all-time leading goal scorer in Division I. He's a lefty. Here's Michael Long, 3rd straight 60-point season.
Got the matchup switch they wanted with a really well-set pick on the wing.
He's got a short stick matchup against John King. Long serpents around the cage, forced to give it up. Here comes Ryan Sheehan. He was on that 2022 team where Cornell lost in the championship game. That ball looked like it was tipped. Shot clock winding down. Loose near midfield. Carnage. They're letting him play. Penn State off the ground. Mike McCloskey, Joe Cieslak, and Daniel Belk are officials today.
What you want to look at when Matt Traynor has the ball. The variety in his offensive game from a dodging perspective. You see him up top here. You will see him from behind the cage, the hide wings, traditional north-south dodging up top from a midfield perspective. He's a chameleon for this offense.
Ethan Long had the game-winning goal for Penn State in its overtime win against Cornell. 20 in blue. Gives it up. Now Jack Amon, the transfer from Rutgers. Long fires, missed the cage. Lehman, the backup, on a shot out of bounds in Lacrosse. Closest to the ball, when and where it goes out of bounds, gets possession. Lehman, the trigger man against Staub. Had a hat trick last week. His pass goes off the stick of Long. And a ground ball picked up by Walker Wallace. 50 in white, 6'7", and Quint, a converted goalie.
He's got a year of eligibility, and his dad told us he may flirt with playing college football at the University of Virginia as a walk-on tight end. 6'7". He's got to do some eating.
Came in as a goalie. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
6'7" goalie. Good luck getting the low shots, Walker.
I get the feeling these teams are still kind of feeling out the matchups. You know, both programs have played in championship weekend. I didn't think nerves would be an issue. They don't look exactly settled right now.
Jude Kelleher draws the slide. A first-team All-American. Now Ryan Goldstein, one of the top passers in the country. Long, interior feed to Dalton, tipped away. So perhaps nerves, but a little sloppiness on both sides early.
Compact defense by the Nittany Lions. They are forcing Cornell to think more from a perimeter perspective, maybe the outside shots. They don't want that cutting and that ball movement at hyper speed to really fester.
Best two interior passing teams in the country you see today with this Cornell group and then with Syracuse in game 2.
Cornell, the #1 offense in the country. Only one shot so far here in the first quarter. Penn State with a chance here. Nust got a piece of it. It comes back to Lehman. That resets the shot clock to 60. Look out for 23 in blue. He's banged up, but he's a talented freshman. Hunter Aquino, 6'6". Peden, an option on the invert. Working on Fozzie. Tries to get topside, now picked up by the pole. Still plenty of time to shoot. Trainer now with a short stick matchup. Gets a step. Trainer. Bounce shot left hand. Nust off to a strong start. His third save. Penn State gets another rebound. It's a fresh 60. Trainer turbines. Down the alley. Doubled. Has to give it up. Peden up top. Aquino face dodge. Not there. Cornell holding.
Excellent recovery by Cornell's defense. They play that one inside out. They were very condensed, but a good approach.
Aquino now, the Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Another save by Nust. 4 for 4. Hot goalies can be all the difference when you get to championship weekend.
He's on. Rebounding from last week. Rebounding from earlier in the season.
Cornell loves to play in chaos. And Goldstein got the side of the net. Still no score in semifinal #1.
Talking to Wyatt Nust yesterday after practice, there was a calming presence about him. You just felt like he was where he belonged. 13 seniors played in that 2022 championship weekend. He was one of them. He was on that team. He saw some spot time as a freshman.
He backed up Chase Erlin, but did relieve Erlin a couple of times late in the season. Matt Dooley picking up Lehman. Here's Long. Feeds the wing. It comes back to X. And now Luke Wallstrom can play attack and midfield. 9 minutes in, still no score. Trainer, his shot blocked by Staub, and ricochets out of bounds. And that's going to be Cornell ball. Quick restart. Kirst
Restart.
fakes the pass.
Those are the little plays by Kirst. That was a shot, so he was closest to the ball when it went out of bounds on that shot, regardless of where it is on the field. You saw the hustle.
It's an important possession for Cornell. They have not found their rhythm. They have not found their flow yet.
Sheehan wheels down the alley over to Goldstein. Now here comes Luzzy out of the box. Luzzy doubled, stick check loose. Goldstein Able to scoop it up. Here's the skip pass. Sheehan, step down, missed the cage. And it's Penn State ball. Leary, the backup. Kark, you brought up the hustle plays for Kirst. I thought last week Kirst did not have his best shooting game against Richmond, but he had 10 ground balls and 3 caused turnovers. It was a reaffirmation of what makes him the best player in the game.
Anish, to put this all in context, CJ Kirst leads the Big Red in non-face-off ground balls with 40. He leads the team in caused turnovers. That is a stat for your top cover defender. That is ridiculous. You never see an attackman lead their team in caused turnovers.
Still no score in semifinal number 1. Here comes Liam Matthews, hero of the first round win against Colgate. Penn State had to come back in that one as well. Matthews had the game tying and game winning goal. There's Ryan DeRocco. He didn't play against Cornell the first time out. Dooley jars that one loose. And it's picked up by Singer. Jason Singer, Ivy League Defenseman of the Year, 43 in white.
Love that poke check and the lift. It's a little bit of a can opener, and the ball pops out of the pocket.
Quint, how does Cornell want to settle into its offense here?
Ball reversal. That prior possession, you saw Goldstein kick it from behind the net up to the near side. That's what he does best. It usually starts with a dodge up front. They spin it through Goldstein, and then good things happen.
Kirst runs out of an angle, tries to roll back to his left. Got the slide. Dalton, who had the game winner against Richmond, lost the ball. Goldstein able to vacuum. Now big Hugh Kelleher. Willem Firth. There's the ball movement. Kirst missed the cage with the backup to Michael Long.
Team's always hunting the best shot. Make the extra pass.
Both teams a combined 0 for 10. Long, Serpents tries to sting, turned away. Penn State with the backup. Boy, the hustle plays in the margins. That has been critical early.
Yeah, guys, both coaching staffs, too, throughout the first quarter at different points have addressed the frenetic energy on the sidelines. A little bit of nerves, a little bit of adrenaline. You see the ball on the ground more than we're used to.
And as an athlete, your first shift, you're going to be gassed. You're going to go out there. You'll be so excited, so taken by this big stadium in the moment. And then somewhere along the line, you find your second wind and you settle down.
Kark for Penn State offensively. What's the game plan?
To give the ball to Matt Traynor. It's that simple. He was so good against Notre Dame last week, creating offense too, so they're going to slide to him.
There is Traynor. Good look. Face dodge. He trips. We get our first flag, and Penn State will go man up. Penn State's extra man was the reason they beat Cornell the first time.
And they used the picking game to get Traynor the ball in a good spot.
1 minute, trip. Red, number 7, trip. 1 minute. Shot clock 60.
So to put a bow on the whole Traynor thing as we see him get tripped here, yeah, that's the right call. Get the ball to 22 in blue. Like, it's that simple. However, if you're Matt Traynor, you have to have your antennas out knowing that Cornell is going to slide to you early. So you have to be prepared also in the 6-on-6 set, Anish, to be a passer if you're Matt Traynor.
Extra man opportunity for Penn State. Amon up top. Plays catch with Lehman. Wallstrom.
They're locked off on Traynor inside. It's a 4-man rotation.
Lehman with a rocket, missed high.
22 standing on the crease, being shut off by Gilmartin.
That pass tipped. Amon corrals. Over to Lehman. Skip pass long. And he missed the cage.
See, if I'm Matt Traynor or Jeff Tambroni, I'm taking him out of that set and playing 5-on-4. It's easier to score 5-on-4. When he's getting locked off in that spot, it's just congesting the entire inside. Yeah, get him out if he's shut off.
Here comes Long. Nust with another stop. 5 for 5. He's been the best player in this opening quarter. And Penn State now 0 for 9 shooting after that 94-mile-per-hour shot. Charlie Box across midfield. 80-second shot clock. Teams have 20 seconds to get it across the midfield line. You are allowed to go over and back in the first 20 seconds as we come up on 1 minute to play in a scoreless opening quarter in semifinal number 1.
A super fast quarter that has not featured many stoppages, right? The ball hasn't gone out of bounds.
Keep in mind, Cornell is the highest scoring team in the country. They lead the nation in assists per game, in shooting percentage. So for Penn State to blank them at this juncture of the first quarter is amazing for the defense.
But they've dominated play, and they got nothing to show for it. And I think this offense is a ticking time bomb.
30 seconds. Now Willem Firth, a second-team All-American, Ivy League Rookie of the Year a season ago. Here is Kirst, more goals than anybody in Division I. He draws the traffic.
Look at the attention.
Long wants it. Pass knocked down by Ross. It will stay with Cornell. Now, one of the subplots in that first meeting between these two, Alex Ross and his defense on C.J. Kirst. Here comes Long, looking inside. Firth on the doorstep to open the scoring.
Firth can be automatic. So much attention on C.J. Kirst. Ryan Goldstein. Don't forget about the sophomore from Canada. It's a save by Wyatt Nust. He's been spectacular in the first quarter. And then it's the brains, the IQ of the operation. The 6th-year senior, Michael Long, to the sensational sophomore.
Whoa, it's the Capital One Bank guy.
That's me.
Could we get a selfie?
Of course. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Ooh, that's a keeper.
So, what do you do outside of the Capital One Cafe?
What do you mean?
Like when you go home or...
Sleep tight. Don't let the overdraft fees bite. What's in your wallet?
You've earned this, so hold it up high. You don't just give an extra hand, you give your whole heart, because it feels good to raise up the community that raised you. You are a fighter, and this is your reward. Medalla, the mark of a fighter.
At Ace, explore the full lineup of Weber grills. The Weber Spirit Gas Grill, Searwood pellet grills for searing and smoking, and the rust-resistant Weber Slate Griddle. From burgers to breakfast, Ace is the place for your perfect Weber grill.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
The all-new Infiniti QX80, a 450 horsepower twin-turbo beast of luxury. Invest in an Infiniti during the once-in-a-springtime event. We won't raise the MSRP on any vehicle before June 2nd.
Cornell's lone regular season loss, March 8th up in Ithaca against Penn State. Ryan Goldstein had a hat trick. C.J. Kirst a couple of goals. Big Red blew a 4-goal lead in the final 3 minutes of regulation. Penn State getting the equalizer from Jack Amon, Ethan Long, the game winner in OT. Penn State won 13-12. They did it without Matt Traynor. They did it without Kyle Lehman. No Ryan Daraka. And goalie Jack Frassion struggled in that game, 4 for 16.
And talking to Jeff Tambroni yesterday, that game really has no relevance to today's game other than the players being familiar with some of their matchups. You know, it helps you, Paul, as a player, when you know what the guy who you're covering, what he looks like, how he runs.
Left.
Specifically,
move your stick left.
As you hear the refs right now.
Reed Gills wins the faceoff from Jack Cascadden. Gills spins it to Traynor, looking for the equalizer. Bounce shot. Nust got a piece of it. And Wyatt Nust, the senior captain from Tampa, Florida, the story of this opening quarter. He has struggled in 2 career games against Penn State, 10 for 29 in the opening quarter. Nust a perfect 5 for 5. I guess they give him a save on that last play. So he's got more saves in the opening quarter today than he did in the entire quarterfinal win against Richmond. Low-scoring affair in Foxborough. Trip to the championship on the line. 1-0 Cornell.
There's no such thing as kind of amazing. It either is or it isn't. Your pulse rises or stays steady.
Go again.
Amazing. You know it when you feel it. Because a car that doesn't make you feel something is a car that stops short of amazing.
The NCAA, driving change to do more for today's student athletes. The NCAA programs deliver $4 billion in scholarships every year. Those D1 scholarships are now guaranteed. Health and well-being services are mandatory. Student athletes get tutoring as well as financial literacy coaching because almost everyone is going pro in something other than sports. The NCAA, driving change to do more for today's student athletes. The NCAA, driving change to do more for today's student athletes. The NCAA programs deliver $4 billion in scholarships every year. Those D1 scholarships are now guaranteed. Health and well-being services are mandatory. Student athletes get tutoring as well as financial literacy coaching because almost everyone is going pro in something other than sports. The NCAA, driving change to do more for today's student athletes.
Financial system updating.
System updated. The future of money is here.
An unprecedented transcontinental race begins on Nintendo Switch 2. Mario Kart World. Game rated E for everyone.
Coach Chambroni, with Matt Traynor being locked off, how do you ignite this offense?
Yeah, I mean, I think Cornell's both defense and goalie have done a really good job in the first quarter. And, you know, settling into a game like this, you knew there was going to be some nerves, but I think our offense will settle in the second quarter. And Coach Halls does a great job of just finding out what they're doing. They're doing some different things on us than Notre Dame did us last week. So hopefully we'll get into a better rhythm here in the second quarter.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dana. Last week in Annapolis, Penn State trailed two-time defending champion Notre Dame 12-6 with about 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. Quint and I were there. We thought the game was over.
You look at this Penn State team, you look at their score by quarter, they're terrific in the fourth quarter. And you spent some time with them on Fridays and practices the last 2 weeks, and they're in great shape. They're about as mentally tough a team as you'll ever see. They're committed to play the full 60, I'll tell you that. Now, their shooting in that first quarter has got to get better. Poor shot selection.
They're getting the shot selections because of their ability to get the ground balls. They're out ground balling Cornell right now 12-5. That tells you the physicality and their ability to chase those type of situations.
The postscript, obviously, Penn State scored the final 8 goals last week to win 14-12. Wallstrom dumps it back to Amon, defended by TJ Lamb. Amon, the Rutgers transfer. Behind the back, whoa! Liam Matthews, SportsCenter top 10.
Canadians wearing 51. Kind of a theme, Quint.
That could be a spark for this game, because at some point, this baby's going to open up and these teams are going to start getting up and down the field. Pass across the formation, keep your eyes on the right side of the screen. Matthews cuts left-handed down the seam. Gilmartin loses him in the wash. Roll back, passes on the money. Now, as a shooter, he feels the front side pressure and he's running himself out of angle. So as a lefty there, this is a high percentage shot. You go over your shoulder. And finally, Penn State's got a solution to Wyatt Nust.
How about the pass by Amon, too? It's kind of a lever pass. If he passed that directly overhand, it could have been knocked down. But you see Willem Firth with the first goal for Cornell. He wears 51. Liam Matthews, 51. What's the common denominator?
Canada.
Yes, Canada and the Hill Academy, the same high school.
Penn State winning all the face-offs. The freshman Gills.
All the effort plays right now, right, Anish?
Yeah, this is a Penn State team. They beat Cornell already. They were tested in both rounds 1 and the quarterfinal. Colgate gave them a game in round 1. They needed to come back in the fourth quarter. Last week against Notre Dame. They've been pressing downhill against the #1 seed. And Cornell is the favorite in this tournament. Wallstrom against Dooley.
Penn State staying in our hotel. I was walking down the hallway yesterday. Penn State player, I don't know who he was, on his phone in my hallway. I walked by him. He's talking on the phone. He says, "We like our matchup with Cornell." And I just kept walking.
Matthews, Lehman, save Nust. Right now, Wyatt Nust has been the difference for Cornell. Here we go, another ground ball. Staub stepped out of bounds.
At breakfast today, we were talking about Penn State when they were here in 2023 and how they didn't flinch with Duke. That was a slugfest, one of the more physical games I've seen on championship weekend. I am not shocked that they are swinging right now.
Far different story than 2019. First time Penn State got here, had a great team with Grant Ament and Mac O'Keefe, and a first quarter stage fright against Yale cost them. Here is Peden. Snaking inside and scores. He's a spark plug. He's a catalyst on that second midfield, and he gives Penn State the first lead of this semifinal.
There's two things on this dodge by Peden. He gets underneath. Once he gets underneath, he knows he has to go airborne to increase his angle. And he goes away from the crease, nowhere close to the crease line or the goal mouth. That is offensive awareness. Beat your defender to a point and then increase your angle.
Senior from Philly, a former attackman who's comfortable around the net. He's one of this senior group that were recruited off the heels of that 2019 championship weekend appearance by the Nittany Lions.
Penn State's top face-off man, Kobe Baldwin, has been hurt the last few weeks. But the freshman Reed Gills has stepped up. 4 for 4 today. Cascadon finally wins one. He's got 9 goals this year. Make it 10. This is a Penn State team, Quint, that now has 20 goals on the season from its long poles and its face-off position.
This guy's a different cat, man. He is a freight train running down and hill. It's more of a counter move. Gills tried to go out the front side. Cascadon just slides down the line and blocks it. And then, nobody wants to slide off of C.J. Kirst. Nobody wants to slide off of Ryan Goldstein. And they give him the lane right down the middle.
That's his 10th goal of the season for a face-off guy. We were with him yesterday. He's a monster. Thorpe Award winner, best player on Nassau County in football in high school. I'm watching him shoot in warm-ups yesterday. As a joke, I nudge him. I say, you need to go over to Connor Busick, your head coach, and tell him you need to be on the extra man.
You could not stop talking about his neck.
He's a monster.
Now Chris Cotter, who's doing halftime, is curious.
Melkonian comes on to give Cascadon a breather and wins that face-off, okay? That's a hard hat play. That's part of the DNA or the identity of Cornell. They'll get some juice off just a simple face-off win.
The counter punch came in 7 seconds after Peden had given Penn State its first lead. Here's Willem Firth. Semifinal number 2, Syracuse and Maryland. Maryland, a championship weekend fixture in the John Tillman era. Cuse back to the big stage for the first time since 2013. Kirst, low to high, and that backup belongs to Kyle Aldridge and Penn State.
That's the matchup, Kirst and Alex Ross. Ross has been very effective the last couple of years against C.J. Kirst. He only had 2 goals and 1 assist, which is a good day for most, but not the nation's leading scorer in C.J. Kirst. And when you look at Kirst this year, he's shooting 45%. Lifetime against Penn State, he's only 21%.
It's been a matchup that Penn State likes, and there's not so many times you can say that when C.J. Kirst is the other player Kirst leads the nation in goals, in points. He is the runaway favorite for the Tewaaraton. He's basically secretariat at the Belmont right now. That race is over. Here comes Peden. He's got a goal. Matt Trainor's been quiet. Stars have yet to shine so far. And that one thrown away. Cornell ball.
They use Trainor, whether he's carrying the ball and somebody sets a pick for him or whether he sets the pick. They use him. They love the two-man games. One guy we haven't mentioned for Penn State's offense, Anish, Hunter Aquino. A key part of this offense. He's been injured late part of the season. We saw him practicing yesterday. We haven't called his name yet.
He was the best offensive player in that March 8th Penn State win against Cornell, had 5 points.
Goal and 4 assists, including the winning assist to Ethan Long. He was fully healthy, burst onto the scene early. Everyone was recognizing him to the point where he was getting a long pole early in the season as a freshman.
And his production is down for one reason. He's not healthy, not close to healthy. He's only practiced a handful of times in the last 6 weeks.
26 points, first 7 games of the year.
Second midfield on. Waldman, number 3 in white. Luzzy, number 22. Now Goldstein. Cyclones goal line extended. Gets free. Knocked away. Long picks it up. Good recovery by Penn State.
If you're Ryan Goldstein, you like what you just saw there. The ability to break somebody's ankles and get to pay dirt. You just got to watch the trail check.
Here comes Long. Skip pass. Waldman. Too high. 5 to shoot.
Penn State showing a little zone there against this second midfield unit.
Cornell's going to sub off its midfielders, so they're probably going to dump this in the corner, get their defense set up, and take the shot clock violation. They do.
Joe Bucci, defensive coordinator. I love the look, right? You don't want to get deep into a zone against Cornell. They'll dissect you, but if you have like moments in a game, Quinn, you could sprinkle it in here and there against certain personnel.
A 2-2 game. Winner gets either Syracuse or Maryland on Championship Monday. Wallstrom defended by Dooley. Gets to the middle. Spins it to the wing. Trainor looking to get on the board. He's matched by Singer, Cornell's top defender. Wallstrom with the wing dodge. Runs out of an angle, plays it back. Terrific move and a score. Liam Matthews has 2 of the 3 for Penn State.
This is high-level offense. Love this throwback assist. You're moving in one direction, and the ability to pass it behind you, where you just came from, off this pick. Watch this pass by Wallstrom.
I love the shot by Matthews, too. The deception. He doesn't fall through. So the goaltender has a really tough time tracking the ball here coming out of the stick. The calmness around goal line extended. It's the underneath move to get the defender to bite initially as a shooter, and then you dip underneath, and then Nuss does not have a shot at this because Matthews is so calm, and his release just stops like middle of that release.
Offensively, Quint, what has changed for Penn State here in the second quarter?
I just think they're utilizing their two-man games on either wing and getting better quality shots in this quarter. When they shot, 0 for 10 in that first quarter, I thought there were some maybe shots from the outside and some poor execution and location against Nust.
Big ground ball pickup by Charlie Box. Cornell has won 3 face-offs in a row. Tomorrow, noon on ESPN, the NCAA Women's Lacrosse Championship. 3rd seed at Northwestern, 1 seed in North Carolina. Jay Alter, she and Stanwood Birch, Charlotte North, and the hardest working individual this weekend, Dana Boyle, will have the call. Kelleher gets the pick from Long. Feeding to Firth. Great look. Just could not finish.
Common theme between both of these offenses. How good they are cutting away from the ball. Tremendous passers on the perimeter, specifically Cornell. Look how hard they work without the ball, knowing that guys like Michael Long will get it to them.
Long is the third attackman for Cornell. He could be a number one for a lot of teams. Firth wears 51 in white. And the comparisons to Jeff Teat are more than surface level. You see a lot of Jeff Teat and Willem Firth.
Got a matchup here for Long.
He's got a short stick, but a good one in Aldridge. Long plays it back on a bounce. Firth, step down, body save, Frassian. And the rebound comes to Penn State and John King.
Gritty play by 30.
Now the ride, and it forces the turnover. That is part of the DNA of Cornell. The ground balls, the ride. It's not just pretty offense. That one intercepted by Aldridge. He's a two-way midi. He is a threat in transition, but he will slam on the brakes.
That's a sloppy turnover by Cornell. They got the reset. You had a tired defense. You had them right where you wanted to them. You had body shots, and you're ready to deliver the headshot.
You mentioned Willem Firth, Anish. Liam Matthews, too. I mentioned same high school, same number. Guess who also went to that high school?
Jeff Teat. Yeah.
It's a calming presence when they play. They almost look like they're playing in slow motion. I often say, like, is Jeff Teat on NyQuil? And then he puts everyone to sleep with his deception, and I see that in Matthews and Firth.
Trainer working on Dooley. Now picked up by Singer. He gives it up. That one off the stick of Aquino. Comes back to Carragher. Matthews 2 goals already. His pass off the stick of Aquino again, and into the stick of Bazzi. Michael Bazzi. 6 career goals, the senior. Staub, 33 now, will run off. He is another guy who can score. And Connor Busick, Cornell's head coach, telling us his polls in transition, they all have the green light. CJ Kirst just 0 for 2, and there is that matchup with Ross.
Yeah, Ross is very patient. He plays his angles beautifully, so he's going to flush Kirst into some poor spots, poor shooting angles.
Here comes Luzzy. His man slips. Kirst gets to the left hand. Ross got in the way again, and Frassian able to dump it off to Ross. Now Leary gallops ahead, swims through a defender. The #1 offense in the nation that averages more than 16 a game held to 2 goals with less than 5 minutes to go in the opening half.
I'm seeing not enough Hugh Kelleher drawing double teams, and Ryan Goldstein does not have half as many touches as I believe he needs for Cornell's offense to be successful.
Now Kelleher was quiet in the quarterfinal win against Richmond, had a big game in round 1.
And in the Ivy tournament, too. He is a monster with both hands. So to Quinn's point, like, you get him going up top, it's a different look. He has a different skill set than the rest of that offense.
He's drawing double teams.
Lehman scores! He dusted Staub, who lost his footing. And Penn State doubling up Cornell.
You gotta buckle up. You gotta get dirty if you're Penn State. You got a juggernaut to stop. And the nation's top player in CJ Kirst, Alex Ross and company doing their part, Quinn.
When you're a cornerback in the NFL, you gotta hold your feet. You fall down, you get beat. You get beat, you get cut.
If you take or have taken Humira for moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis and still have symptoms, you don't have to settle. Ask your gastroenterologist if switching to Rinvoq is right for you. It's one of the latest treatments from the makers of Humira. Rinvoq works differently than Humira and may help. Rinvoq is a once-daily pill that can deliver rapid symptom relief, lasting steroid-free remission, and helps visibly reduce damage of the intestinal lining.
Rinvoq can lower ability to fight infections. Before treatment, test for TB and do blood work. Serious infections, blood clots, some fatal, cancers including lymphoma and skin. Serious allergic reactions, GI tears, death, heart attack, and stroke occurred. CV event risk increases in age 50 plus with a heart disease risk factor. Tell your doctor if you've had these events: infection, Hep B or C, smoked, are pregnant, or planning. Don't take if allergic or have an infection.
Rapid symptom relief and lasting steroid-free remission are possible with Rinvoq. Ask your gastroenterologist if switching to Rinvoq is right for you. You could pay as little as $0 per month.
Pacifico isn't just a crisp Mexican lager. It's a beer with a story. Legend says it was discovered by accident by a group of surfers. We'll let you discover it for yourself. Pacifico. Find your own way.
At Ace, explore the full lineup of Weber grills. The Weber Spirit Gas Grill, Searwood pellet grills for searing and smoking, and the rust-resistant Weber Slate Griddle. From burgers to breakfast, Ace is the place for your perfect Weber grill.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
A UFL showdown between two of the league's best.
Let's go win this damn thing right here.
Panthers, Stallions.
Fighting for the lead in the conference race.
The United Football League. Today at 3 on ABC.
Back at Foxborough alongside Matt Ward, I'm Chris Cotter. We're going to see you at the half. Matt, if you had on your bingo card the lowest scoring first quarter in semifinal action for 18 years, go to Vegas right now. Other than that, what else did you see in the first half?
Yeah, not what we expected. We thought with Cornell and their offense, they'd be putting up a lot of goals. But credit Penn State. They have dominated possession. The field is tilted in their favor. Cornell's lucky to only be down 2.
More on this game, plus we'll preview Maryland and Syracuse coming up at the half. Until then, Anish, send it back to you guys.
All right, Chris, Matt, we will get it to you in a few minutes. 4:10 left in the second quarter. Penn State leading Cornell 4-2. First quarter, both teams off to a sleepy start. Penn State's been caffeinated in the second quarter. Gills wins another faceoff. Trainer still without a point, but offensively, Penn State, some of these good looks now are turning into goals.
We're seeing a variety of offensive principles, right? They're not relying on one guy. It's not always just Trainer. It's a Lehman. It's a sprinkle of Matthews with the 2 goals. And if you look at the way they're scoring their goals too, different approaches.
That one goes off the side of the net from Amon. Nearly a turnover.
You're good, 30. You're good, 30.
There's Hugh Kelleher. Over to Long. Stings the corner. Kelleher to Long. And it's 4-3.
You were cold for him, weren't you? You wanted some you.
Hugh Kelleher is I mean, we met him yesterday. He is chiseled out of granite. And his speed, his ability to shoot, draws double teams. Right there it is. And next thing you know, from the wing, Michael Long dials up a corner. But it all starts with Hugh Kelleher.
It does, and that's the aspect that he provides for the offense. Everyone else is kind of a wing dodge-oriented player. Hugh Kelleher is a runaway train. He is a big dude. Yes, right? He's a big dude who likes to go old school, north-south through the defense. So you have to respect him.
Yeah, Coach Busick turning to the sideline and saying, we need more of that. We need more of that juice. Coming out of that timeout, he said, if we're not going to be able to make an impact in the 6v6, like you saw there, we got to be better on the ground game. He's a little disappointed with that play.
Connor Busick was a midfielder and attackman at Cornell, and then with Team USA and in the Pro League, who played a lot like Hugh Kelleher.
Yeah.
He was a big dude who could get downhill.
Two-handed, could get a shot off with the defender's stick in their mitts.
I saw him play high school football at St. X in Cincinnati. He was a bad, bad man.
Played high school football. Kelleher, there he is. Hugh the Hammer. We're tied at 4.
freshman. We saw his potential. Now it's manifested into this, a runaway train ripping through the defensive pressure. That is too big, that is too fast, that is too strong.
When we saw him yesterday, he had shoulders that were about as wide as a city skyline.
General Douglas MacArthur High School.
What are you doing in that?
Right in the center of Nassau County.
That's not a soft town.
It is toughness, grit, all sports, man. When you played against MacArthur High School, you button the chin straps. You better bring your mouthpiece, Anish.
Chris Cotter, who we'll hear from at halftime with Matt Ward, saw you, Keller, and his dad walking around in Ithaca. His dad makes you look small.
That's a big face-off win for Cascade, and Gills violated on the last one for Penn State. So the Nittany Lions, by rule, could not have Gills back out there. Chase Mullins takes it. Cornell wins the face-off, and now a chance to take the lead.
The momentum, right? Momentum swings. Storyline of this entire NCAA playoffs, perhaps.
There's Dalton. Andrew Dalton, big red rifle. Now Firth dropped it.
That's costly.
Picked up by King. Sloppy turnover.
King is one of those guys that doesn't get the credit, Quint. He's a ground ball machine.
Flag down. We might have offsides here.
If you're looking for one, Jeff.
How about the tightrope there by King?
Yeah, he does a lot of the dirty work. A lot of the dirty work. More than 40 ground balls. Wings of face-offs. Legging the ball up the field. Draper, Utah. Kind of the heart and soul of that D-Midi group.
162 points to lead the nation as a high school senior out in Utah. Wallstrom. Now Peden picked up by Bozzi. Trainer setting the pick. Peden down the alley. Trainer wanted it back. Instead they go to X. Now Peden camped out at X behind the cage. Trainer's got a short stick. Here comes Trainer, accelerating toward the cage. Air Trainer, flag down. Does the goal count? It does.
Goal's going to be good. They rejoice in Happy Valley. And when Matt Trainer sets his mind on getting to the crease, getting to the rack, there's no getting in his way.
He lands in that goal mouth, but it's because of defensive pressure. So the goal is good. There's the push from the back. You cannot land in the goal mouth at all unless it's defensive pressure. That's the half circle inside of the crease area. And this is a common theme for Matt Trainer in the playoffs. Leave your feet and score some nutty goals. He did that last week against Notre Dame. It was the goal of the tournament.
And Q, his teammates were telling us he'd been practicing and waiting to pull that one out of the bag for a few weeks.
This is a guy who 2 years ago only had, what, a couple points. He's a backup type player.
His freshman year, yes. His sophomore year, he had a big season. His freshman year, he was nicked up. Injured for 2 seasons in high school, so came into Penn State, not himself. But once he found his groove his sophomore year with his brother Jack, they were fantastic together 2 years ago on the stage.
He has 10 goals in the tournament to lead all players. And a timeout by Connor Busick with less than 20 seconds to go in the half.
CJ Kirst has been quiet. And Quint, you and I talk about it all the time. Rather than him initiating all the time, use him as a cutter. I think he might be the best cutter in college lacrosse. It doesn't have to be CJ initiating.
Monday at 1 Eastern on ESPN, the national championship game from Gillette Stadium here in Foxborough. For more information, go to NCAA.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. So, Cornell last won a championship in 1977. They won 3 days after the theatrical release of the original Star Wars. Penn State, prior to 2019, had never won a tournament game. They've never gone past the national semifinals. Syracuse, decorated history. Maryland, decorated history. Terps, though, under John Tillman, they've played in the championship game 8 times, just 2-6. And Syracuse at championship weekend, Quint, for the first time since 2013. They have not won at all since 2009, which for them is a long time ago in a galaxy far away.
Who do you like? I don't know. You come to Memorial Day weekend, usually you can sink your teeth into 1 or 2 teams. This year, it's all 4. It's all 4. They all have a shot, and the matchups matter. I tell you one thing, though, that's broken towards the players. Cool temperatures, 55 degrees, cloudy. Ideal conditions for these athletes to play 2 games in 3 days.
Yes, especially the teams that aren't as deep like Syracuse at the short stick defensive midfield position. If it was a hot scorcher, they could be toast. I talked about getting C.J. Kirst involved as a cutter. Penn State has shown some zone over the course of this tournament. This is a great spot for zone. 17.5 seconds left in the second quarter. Make Penn State go into the zone and force Cornell to think.
Here is C.J. Kirst, 0 for 3 shooting without a point in this first half. Kirst draws the slide over to Kelleher. He lost the ball. Boy, Penn State active on defense. Ross flicks it downfield. That's going to be Cornell ball. 1.6 seconds to go. And that's how the first half ends. Only 1 goal was scored in the opening 15 minutes. We got caffeinated in that second quarter. Kark was already caffeinated, the birthday boy. But we go down to Dana Boyle, who is with Cornell head coach Connor Busick.
Coach, suffocating Penn State defense. How do you make an impact in the 6v6 offensively?
Yeah, we got to win some matchups. We got to get some ball flow. And, when we started to find a little flow there late, it's helpful when we win faceoffs to get us in that rhythm. So started to see it late and hoping to build on that in the second half.
How would you assess your defensive performance?
They're playing excellent ball, right? Great sense of urgency, right? We got to pick up the ball more in the defensive half of the field and end some possessions. But goalies making saves, they're playing hard. And Penn State's a great team, so you tip your cap sometimes.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Penn State 5, Cornell 4. A trip to Monday's national championship is on the line. We still have another half to play in semifinal number 1. Halftime coming up with Chris Cotter and Matt Ford.
Welcome to the show, the one with unimaginable power and endless entertainment. Dodgers, Mets, an NLCS rematch on Sunday Night Baseball. Sunday at 7 on ESPN.
Where the love go? Where the love go?
The newly crowned NBA MVP.
This young man is so talented.
A thunder explosion once again.
5, 4, 3, 2, I let one go.
The Western Conference Finals, Game 3 on ABC.
Lowe's knows less time on chores means more time for what and who you love. We're offering great deals on Whirlpool appliances that are made to handle the housework for you, so you can get back to the things, places, and people that matter most. Shop Memorial Day deals now at Lowe's. We help, you save.
Maria.
Grab an ice-cold Coca-Cola and enjoy summer.
I teach the art of fanology, a job I take seriously. As to the question of nature versus nurture, is a fan born or is a fan made? I know this. Our game can make a fan out of anyone. And at Fandom U, we take it to a whole new level. The NCAA Championships. Attendance is encouraged. Passion is mandatory. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/tickets. Class dismissed.
The road to national championships runs through NCAA.com. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want all in one place. With live broadcasts of multiple championships across all divisions, with exclusive access and highlights for every single championship. Stay in the game all season long with NCAA.com, the home of college sports.
3 ice-cold Jägermeister shots, please. Those look warm.
Serve it cold or don't serve it at all. Jägermeister. Damn, that's cold.
saw fair in that first half. Matt Trainer for Penn State with the go-ahead goal flying through the air. And it counts. 5-4 at the break. The Nittany Lions looking to spring the upset on the top-ranked team in the country in the number 1 seed, the Cornell Big Red. Alongside Matt Ward, I'm Chris Cotter back here at Foxborough. Surprising that we had such a low-scoring first half, although they did pick things up there in that second quarter.
Yeah, I mean, credit Penn State for early in the game winning faceoffs, controlling the pace of play, tilting the field in their favor, because I think the expectation was that this was going to be a track meet. Right, Cornell wanted it to be high scoring and Penn State wanted the opposite, and they really took it to Cornell early on, playing great team defense, right? Not an easy task to shut this Cornell offense out, but they were getting their sticks in the passing lanes. They were putting the ball on the ground, getting a few saves, winning the ball, the run out to the end line and getting those extra possessions, and they just did an amazing job, right? I think outside of Wyatt Nuss and Cage for Cornell, Cornell's lucky to have been in this game as long as they were.
You talked about Wyatt Nuss. I mean, he was the player of the game for them in the first quarter. Second quarter, this game went a little bit more to play, and that's when things open up. That has to, even though Cornell's trailing, they have to be happy that this is getting to be a little bit more of a track meet for them in the second half.
Absolutely. Cornell wants this game to be high tempo, up and down the field. Penn State's really good on the 6-on-6, but Cornell has big athletes, and if you can wear down the defense, getting them up and down, tiring out the defense, is going to open up lanes for Goldstein, Kirsch, Kelleher, and now you kind of see this pace picks up as Matt Trainer with that amazing goal to take the 5-4 lead going into halftime. But Cornell feels much better at the end of that second quarter than I would say they did feeling going into the second quarter.
Yeah, and when you think about this Cornell offense too, you look at a guy like Kirsch, 3 shots, no goals, no assists. We talk about it all the time that he affects games in so many other ways, but I think at the end of the day, you still want to have him on that score sheet a little more than a 0-0.
Yeah, look, credit Alex Ross for Penn State, who's played him really well both times that they've matched up this season. But yeah, I mean, keeping Kirst off the score sheet's impossible. And if you do keep him under his averages, he's going to get 10 ground balls. He's going to cause all kinds of chaos in the riding game, and he just hasn't been a factor. And Penn State, they can replicate that in the second half. Cornell's going to find themselves probably on the wrong side of this.
Well, we've got more on this game coming up at the half, but we're also going to preview the second game of our semifinal doubleheader coming up. Syracuse, they have been hot, and of course they're hot. You got to be to get this far, but they've been red hot taking on Maryland. Of course, John Tillman's team is going to be well prepared for the semifinal matchup coming on later tonight.
The all-new Infiniti QX80, a 450 horsepower twin-turbo beast of luxury. Invest in an Infiniti during the once-in-a-springtime event. We won't raise the MSRP on any vehicle before June 2nd.
There's nothing as American as the Sonic Smasher. Always made to order, hand-smashed Angus beef patties seared to perfection. Meet America's Smashable Burger, the Sonic Smasher.
The thing about work, it's always changing. But with the right perspective, what seems confusing or just out of reach can suddenly fall into place. If it's a work thing, it's a SHRM thing.
SHRM. If you keep making that face, it's going to stay like that.
I'm trying to get my own car insurance.
USAA. Grandpa was in the military. He shared membership with your mom so she could share with you. Easy.
USAA. Check if you're eligible today.
This is the mark of a fighter. A rich, full-flavored lager with a crisp, refreshing taste. A reward for those with a fighting spirit. You've earned this, so hold it up high. Modelo, the mark of a fighter.
A dream is a wish your heart makes.
He loves that baby.
And wait till you see the other 2 surprises. A joyful bundle of 3.
3?
I was thinking of gifting one to each of you. I got AT&T's bundle of 3. iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence for me, and iPad and Apple Watch for you.
New and existing customers get their iPhone 16 Pro on us with eligible trade-in. Plus iPad and Apple Watch SE for 99 cents per month each and save up to $1,700.
At Ace, explore the full lineup of Weber grills. The Weber Spirit Gas Grill, Searwood pellet grills for searing and smoking, and the rust-resistant Weber Slate Griddle. From burgers to breakfast, Ace is the place for your perfect Weber grill.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NCAA for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any picture, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NCAA consent is prohibited.
Let's end it now. You got the ball.
Don't forget what got you here.
Rip the net, baby. I got ball, come on. Come on.
This is your time. Go make it happen.
What to watch for? Coming up, game 2 of our doubleheader. Maryland, the 2 seed in this tournament. John Tillman's club played such a tough schedule all year, really prepared them for what they would face in May. They beat Georgetown in the quarters to get here. And Syracuse was on the bubble a month ago. They win the ACC tournament. They win their first 2 games here. They are red hot. And they once again get back to championship weekend for the first time in a long time. What, in your mind, are going to be the deciding factors in this game?
Well, I think for Syracuse, it's going to be building on what has happened here the last few weeks, right? Winning the ACC championship, coming back against Harvard in the first round where they were on death's door, right, in the NCAA tournament. And it all starts with Joey Spallina, right? He is on pace to become Syracuse's all-time leading scorer. And the question has been, can he step up in the big games against the big physical athletes? And he has found his way. In the ACC tournament, he took it to Notre Dame. Last week against Princeton, 4-4. Doing it all. He is incredibly skilled, and if he plays the way that he has been, the Syracuse offense is incredibly hard to stop.
You know, we talk about Coach Tillman. He always seems to have his team prepared when they get the championship weekend, especially on the defensive end, and they're anchored by Logan McNaney in goal, and that's a nice person to have as your anchor.
Yeah, he's been in College Park what seems like forever, and he's only gotten better. And he is, my money, the most experienced player in the NCAA tournament, probably the best goalie as well. And what I love about him is how he catches every shot cleanly and creates transition for him. And again, if there's a goalie that can steal a game, Logan McNaney is that person in the NCAA tournament. He has been fun to watch throughout his career, and he's got another opportunity to make a meaningful impact for an NCAA championship.
All right, let's switch gears here real quick and talk about the second half we've got here with Penn State and Cornell. What adjustments do you think need to be made at the half for both these teams coming out?
Look, I think for Cornell, you've got to lean on Kirst, right? Like, you've got to get him involved on the offensive set. Now, again, if the pace picks up and they get more possessions, it's a little bit easier for him to force the issue. But if Penn State can win faceoffs like they did early in the game, slow the game down, get the ground balls, then it becomes a little bit dicey for him. It's like, do I just get it and go to the goal, or do we play patient team offense? So it's going to be kind of a, pick your poisons for Cornell instead.
Well, as Anish said, a little more caffeinated in that second quarter. It took Cornell until the very last minute of that first quarter to score the first goal of this game, but Michael Long painting a corner here. Big Red trail by 1 as we head to the second half.
Sometimes my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis gets in my way. But thanks to Skyrizi, I'm free to bare my skin. With Skyrizi, I saw dramatically clearer skin. And many people were 100% plaque-free. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and TB. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Now's the time. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Learn how AbbVie could help you save.
There's losing, but then there's being the loser. Game time comes with enough pressure. Way too often, people are betting on sports, losing, and taking it out on the athletes. Only a loser would harass college athletes after losing a bet. But it happens almost every day. Root for your team. Get crazy when the buzzer sounds. But don't harass anyone because you lost a bet. It's time we draw the line and put an end to the abuse. Brought to you by the NCAA.
NCAA athletes don't just compete. They make history. Representing our nation with pride and excellence, they bring home the hardware. Our college campuses serve as training grounds for the next generation of stars. Catch tomorrow's Olympians and Paralympians on the NCAA Championship stage today.
America, you're watching the best on that? Hey, what is that? Oh, now you're just doing my boy dirty. Well, you're not taught how to watch sports? Take it from me, Aunt's Fairy Goduncle. If you want to watch the big leagues, you're going to need a bigger screen, deeper surround sound, and beautiful vision for the beautiful players. America, it's time for a reality check. It's the NBA playoffs. You need the best home viewing experience to truly own the moment. And for that, you need Hisense.
Penn State 5, Cornell 4 at the half of semifinal number 1. And he's Schroff, Paul Carcaterra, who turns 50 today.
All right. Way to go.
Quinn Kesnick with us. We'll get a report from Dana Boyle shortly. First quarter, both teams a little sloppy. Maybe some nerves, but Wyatt Nust, the Cornell goalie, was sublime in that opening 15 minutes.
Lefty, senior from Tampa, Florida, got off to a good start, and he was clearly seeing the pill. An excellent half.
Penn State finally cracks through with an insane look-away BTB by Liam Matthews. Will Peden wins his matchup. He leaves his feet. Talk about leaving your feet. Matt Traynor, air trainer in the tournament 2025. 12 of their 17 shots have been on goal. They finally solved Nust. How about this, though? When Penn State's winning at the half, they're 8-0.
Well, Clark, speaking with Jeff Tambroni here at the half, I asked him about Matt Traynor, and he said, we certainly go as Matt goes, but he's got 3 older brothers, so that competitiveness, when they're tight in games, when they're down, you know he's going to take over. And he said, don't get me wrong, he does have his days. He said it with a big smile, but really high on Matt Traynor.
The big story in this game are 2 defenses that are playing very well, but Cornell with an out-of-body experience offensively. That was their worst half of offensive lacrosse all season. 4 goals on 20 possessions.
How about this? 6 shots on goal. Cornell can get that in 3 minutes and 2 possessions. That's all they have for an entire half. 6 shots on goal. So if you're Cornell, you need to start getting creative, I think, with CJ Kerr. Start using him off ball as a decoy and not necessarily the initiator of the offense.
Down. Set. Clean exit, Cascadden, who's got a goal. Puts one on Cage. That one's turned away. Cascadden able to get it back. According to our friends at Lax Reference, first half efficiency for Cornell, a season low. As Quint mentioned, 4 goals, 20 possessions, only 6 shots on goal. And obviously the biggest surprise, CJ Kurst, the all-time leading goal scorer in Division I. 0 for 3 shooting.
The attack's got 1 goal, 1 assist. This is an offense, quite honestly, in the tournament that has not been humming. Only had 5 goals at halftime against Albany.
Firth has one of the goals, plays it back to Goldstein, who has 50 assists. Top 3 nationally.
Ball movement, ball reversal.
That one taken away momentarily by Leary. Here comes Penn State.
Look who got the ground ball again.
It's John King. Trail check, Firth. Traynor picks it up. He gets hit in the back by Dalton. Loose ball, no flag. That looked like a push with possession.
Here's your hustle stats.
Here comes Firth, accelerating the other way.
This track could get slick. It was pouring rain at half. It stopped again.
Staub's a threat with the pole, and he scores! 9th career goal. He had one in the quarters as well.
Up and down we go. John King thinks he's off to the races. He's trailed. Jeff Trainer gets fouled. That's a miss by these officials. He was run over from behind. That should have been a loose ball push.
When you think of this offense, everyone's got the green light. Staub scored last week. Back home on Long Island, Garden City product playing at Hofstra. He does it again. This is the 11th pole goal on the season for Cornell. Green light for everyone.
Trailer awareness by Michael Long, sensing that those poles, whether it's Walker Wallace, whether it's Staub or Jason Singer. Good eyes by Michael Long.
The rain has let up. It is still a light rain. Now Quint, with this turf, what impact, if any, does a light rain have?
I mean, anytime the field is wet, it helps shooters because there's less friction on shots, bounce shots, and so the ball doesn't slow down as much scientifically, Anish.
I think it could hurt the quick dodgers like the Ryan Goldsteins of the world who have firecracker feet.
I think it favors the guy with the ball because I know where I'm going and you as a defender don't. Think about football when fields get wet. It favors the receiver.
Luzzy sneaks down the alley. Now here is Goldstein, one of those quick dodgers. A second-team All-American. Feeds the middle. Frassian with his biggest save of the game off the Waldman shot.
You see the passing ability of Goldstein. And when I think of his game, the word that best describes him is impatience. And I say that as an advantage for him. He wants to play every time.
It looks like we're going to get a flag on Kyle Aldridge.
24.
That's a 1 minute slash on Aldridge.
You don't want to join him. Blue, 2-4, slash, 1 minute.
Take a look at this. 24.
Yeah, retribution.
Blue gets it. Yeah, there's Goldstein, and then the retribution.
That's it?
You always get caught.
That was an eye for an eye, Kark. That was not. Goldstein gave him a two-hander on the forearms, and that hurts, just like his dad used to do it, and comes in high, and then Aldridge retaliates. Come on, man. That was an eye for an eye.
They always get the second guy, right? And you know all about his dad, Tim, a Cornell legend who played against Quint Kesnick in the '87 championship game. Goldstein was MVP of that tournament. Kesnick had 20-plus saves in a Johns Hopkins win.
Ryan is like a clone of his dad.
Man up for Cornell. They are amongst the very best.
Two inside on the crease. Interesting formation.
54% with the extra man this season. Long, feeding inside. Does the goal count? Was he in the crease? They may wave this off. They do. Rory Graham in the crease.
That's a win for Penn State's defense. You do not want to let Cornell get back into this game in the power play extra man opportunity.
But you got to clear it.
Now Frassian, this Cornell ride, Valkyrian at times. Ryan O'Connor getting locked up with Kelleher. Springs free. Penn State can catch its breath.
Take a look at left side of your screen here. Beautiful pass by Long, but Graham tries to get the inside track on the defender. He's just too close to the crease. That's a good call.
How about Penn State getting a crease call on championship weekend?
I know where you're going with that.
The irony.
Goldstein, here's Kirst, looking to get on the board. Back to Goldstein. Side shuffle, lost the ball, doubled. Cornell loves to play in the chaos. Here's Kirst. There's the hammer. Boy, his best look, and he missed.
You said it. They like to play in the chaos, and the impatience of Ryan Goldstein, always looking to make a play, whether it's in the ride, unsettled situations as a passer, and then it's the feet and his ability to dodge here. And Quint was saying almost a carbon copy of his dad. I think they have the same type of vision and passing ability, but Ryan's actually quicker as a dodger.
And Quint, he was telling me yesterday, Ryan Goldstein was that one of the guys that he watched a ton of video of was former Penn State great Grant Ament, and he said coming down the alley, the behind the back pass that Ament would make, he said I kind of took that from watching video of Grant Ament.
Ryan Goldstein has trained with Ament and Michael Sowers quite a bit in the Philly area.
Yep.
And I see the Sowers footwork in his game.
All those drills.
The change of direction,
Yep.
the stutter steps, the really strong jab steps he takes.
The difference between Ryan Goldstein, Michael Sowers, and Grant Ament and Michael Sowers were 5-star recruits. Ryan Goldstein had 0 offers. No one wanted this kid. Cornell took him because of his father, right? And they knew that they were getting that type of a worker and a character and a player with tremendous upside. So they took a little chance, quote unquote. Well, it was the best chance they ever took.
5-5 game here in the third. Trip to the championship on the line. Aquino, the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, on a bounce to Wallstrom. Tornadoes away from trouble. Dumps it back to the 6'6" Aquino.
A little zone D. No, this is man from Cornell.
Ethan Long from the wing. He is dangerous. 4 points in each of the first 2 tournament games. Interior feed, and Mr. Matthews with a hat trick in this semifinal.
C.J. Kirst has not scored in this game. Alex Ross, left-handed, strong hold, falls on the carpet, ties him up, and then gets some help from the posse.
The money man today, Liam Matthews with a hat trick. Third of the afternoon. He's been dominating the interior as a finisher. Players know, too, the rules don't apply the same to every off-ball player. You could jam it into Liam Matthews all day long.
Teams evolve. Injuries change rotations. And when Hunter Aquino got banged up, he had to bump off of attack to the second midfield. Luke Wallstrom bumped down from attack to midfield, and it created Quint an opportunity for Liam Matthews. He scored some huge goals now in this tournament, had 4 in that round 1 win against Colgate, including the game winner and the game tying goal.
Historically, you think about championship teams, there's always somebody who emerges late in the season in May, championship weekend, usually a freshman or a sophomore, or maybe a senior, a role player, like back in the day, Nick Liccamelli,
yes.
Back in 1995
yes,
when
exactly.
you won it.
Kelleher! Ho-ho! An absolute Hadouken from the first-team All-American midfielder.
I'll tell you who's not a role player, who's a senior, and he's bringing complete gas. He's been the bright spot. Hugh Kelleher initiating as a passer in that second quarter and a dodger. Start to third, little shimmy shake, direct overhand. How do you like that sound?
Tell you, defensively, he gets a running start out of the substitution box. You got problems. Ryan O'Connor, 42 in blue, backs up into about 10 yards. If you're Jack Frassie and Penn State's goalie, you got to communicate this one a little better. He's got to pick him up at the top of the box.
What a stroke by Big Hugh, and that's a player that flirted with using another year of eligibility in football, and then the last month he told me he kind of changed his course. So he was late into the draft discussions in the PLL.
And a trend developing here. Cornell has won 7 face-offs in a row. Remember, Penn State won the first 4. You let Cornell's offense get into a make-it-take-it flow, all of a sudden this game could go in the other direction very quickly.
When we start the PLL next week in Albany, and Hugh Kelleher drafted in the 4th round, that is the steal of the draft by the New York Atlas and Mike Pressler. This guy is a complete unit.
There's a skip to Firth. Kirst still without a point. Top player in Division I. Now Goldstein playing hangman. Frassian out of the cage. Goldstein probing. Now makes his move. Up top, Firth. There's Kelleher. He's got 2 already, plus an assist.
Connor Busick talking to Dana earlier said, we lacked flow. I see that flow now. They're in the flow.
And they are dangerous when they flow. Long and Aldridge battling. Shot clock at 15. Kirst gives it up. Dalton. There's Kelleher. Another rocket into the shadow realm.
2 things with Big Hugh.
When he gets his feet set like that, or if he comes into the box with momentum.
Now, they say that ball was tipped by the goalie, so that's going to reset the shot clock to 60.
91 mile an hour.
There comes Waldman. Part of the second midfield. Now Kirst. There's Andrew Dalton. Gets to the middle. Goldstein. Bounce shot wide. This will stay with Cornell, so a long offensive possession here for the Big Red. We are tied for the 5th time in semifinal number 1.
Hey, Goldie, switch!
Waldman again. Bounce shot. Frasian gets a piece. And Dalton beats King. So it stays with Cornell and another fresh 60.
This is tough for a defense. Frasian's been good. Tell you, he struggled last 3 games of the season, less than 35%. They increased his volume in practice, and he's delivered. This is tough for a Penn State defense with this ball movement and these constant resets. They go zone. Looks like they're in.
And the zone D worked wonders in the win against Notre Dame. Waldman puts one on Cage. 12th of the year for the sophomore out of Westfield, New Jersey.
I think Penn State goes zone because the defense in man with these constant resets was tired and gassed. Walden recognizes that and beats Frasian, who doesn't step to the pill.
The kids.
Ronnie!
The kids. They'll be home any second.
I got you. Oh, Bronny now has 3 plies.
3 plies? Well, that is lit.
No.
Only Brawny has 3 plies. It's new, and it's stronger than Bounty. Brawn. Some of the strongest.
Maria.
Grab an ice-cold Coca-Cola and enjoy summer.
At Ace, explore the full lineup of Weber grills. The Weber Spirit Gas Grill, searwood pellet grills for searing and smoking, and the rust-resistant Weber Slate Griddle. From burgers to breakfast, Ace is the place for your perfect Weber grill.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
You've earned this, so hold it up high. This isn't just a restoration. It's a revival, because you know there's value in making space for your people. You are a fighter, and this is your reward. Medalla, the mark of a fighter.
A generational, transcendent talent, C.J. Kirst, the NCAA all-time leader in goals. He's going to win the Tewaaraton this year, 3-time first-team All-American, won the Enters Award this week, Player of the Year, #1 pick in the PLL, and he has the disposition and the personality to be the face of the PLL as well once he gets into the league. Just a maestro.
Lefty Alex Ross has done a nice job of kind of bottling up his momentum and then bringing some double teams. CJ hasn't gotten any looks in transition or off ball in the cutting game, and that's where he's been so lethal this year. Penn State's been tremendous in their career against CJ Kirst. When you look at the seasons he's had, but it's always been Penn State's been the thorn in his side. He's 1-3 against Penn State. He's 8 for 41 shooting. That's under 20%. For the season, he's a 45% shooter. So CJ Kirst has been a wrecking ball against everyone but Penn State.
Yeah, Clark, what impresses me most about CJ specifically in this game is what he does without the ball. It's his demeanor on the field. Yeah, he hasn't registered a point, but his energy, the way he treats his teammates hasn't changed. And his mom, Michelle, told me that when he was a young boy, one of the underrated parts of his game was that he was such an observer, like his father, Kyle. He'd observe and then adjust his game plan from there. A total team player.
He grew up with 4 other brothers, 3 in the PLL. Staub feeding Goldstein. Right now, Cornell's playing a little bit of make it, take it lacrosse. They're winning faceoffs. They're getting offense. And now Staub, the long pole, has been a part of 2 goals.
This is terrific deception from Staub, who has alerted Penn State that he's got a vicious outside shot, so he gives that motion that he's going to let it rip. Defense steps out to him. Goldstein is so cagey at the pipes. There's no player who sneaks around the goal better than Ryan Goldstein. He does it again. 1 touch off the Staub feed.
It had to be a 1 touch because he saw that defensive pressure. Alex Ross was closing in on him. He knew that when he caught it low, it had to be a 1-timer.
Set.
Reed Gills jumped for Penn State on the last faceoff, so Chase Mullen with a big draw, and that is a huge faceoff win for Penn State. They had to go to their backup. Oh, that's an unforced error right there. Ryan O'Connor stepped out of bounds. It's the white line, not the yellow line, which is the women's line.
I think O'Connor got that ground ball, and the white line was on the other side of him. He sees that yellow line. I think he had, he thought he had that more room to deal with.
Another ground ball, middle of the field, kicked. Trainer,
big time
like
play.
A Roomba.
Big time play.
Here comes Trainer again. Turned away by Dooley. Cornell with its first 2-goal lead of the game.
If you're Penn State, take a deep breath, right? You've been a 60-minute team all year.
And a fourth-quarter team.
You just commit to play the whole thing. You ride out the lows, live with the highs.
They will. Last week against Notre Dame, down 12-6. They scored the last 8 goals of that game. There is tremendous fight when it comes to We Are.
Lehman, the long dodge up to Aquino. To Rocco. Trainer defended by Singer. Trainer gets free with the pick. Right hand. And that one's off the side of the net. Cornell ball. Liam Matthews has scored on 3 of his 4 shots. The rest of the Penn State team, 3 for 15. You've got Cornell winning faceoffs, and all of a sudden the offense has that rhythm, that mojo back.
Where's Matthews getting his opportunities? Inside, right in the paint. The perimeter shooters are not capitalizing for Penn State.
Here comes Sheehan. Kirst still looking to get on the board. Alex Ross has done a tremendous job on the best player in the nation. Luzzy cashes in. It's a 5-1 spurt here in the 3rd quarter for Cornell, and they've got their largest lead of this semifinal.
Luzzy's one of those role players, only 7 goals coming into today. The scout on him is you're going to have to force him to beat you one-on-one. There's really no slide help. So Luzzy knows if he can get the separation, if he can free his hands up for just a second, he's going to get that opportunity on Frassian.
He stays north-south and kind of runs through the friction to get his hips and shoulders in the correct alignment. He's not running down towards the pylon in the corner. He's running downhill, down the football hash marks.
So C.J. Kirst has been locked down for Cornell, but look at where they're getting their goals from today. Cascadin off the faceoff, the second midfield. Guys like Waldman and Luzzy. Staub, a long pole, has a goal and an assist. This is not a one-man team. Sometimes you have that superstar, supernova type of player. All the attention is on him. But this Cornell team, there's pieces all around. We're seeing that on full display today.
And I think the stat that captures this team best, the #1 team in the nation in assists per game. Everyone gets involved. The ball moves at hyper speed. C.J. Kirst just happens to be the most dynamic, forceful dodger in the country.
Here is Trainer Quint. What's the counterpunch now for Penn State?
I think Trainer 22 is in the picking game.
Nittany Lions rallied from 6 down with less than 6 minutes to go in the third last week. Matthews turned away by Nust. And then Staub just places it in the cage very gently as Davis gallops across midfield. 8 saves for Wyatt Nust, the native of Tampa, Florida.
It's there all day, Liam. It's there all day below. Roll the belt, buddy.
Well, the restraint for Kirst has been impressive today, Q. He knows Alex Ross is winning this matchup. He has not tried to force it, not once.
I've always been blown away by the positivity of C.J. Kirst and his brothers and the team spirit that they all carry. It's about we. It's never been about me. And what Dana sees on that bench every time out, it is an example of that.
Kirst over to Firth. Long. Wow. Cornell pressing downhill. That's 5 unanswered. And a 10-6 lead for the #1 team in the country.
WDWS. Well done. Better than well said. Starts with a big stop. You stay tall from the inside. Don't guess low. And then at the other end, the ball movement is spectacular.
Yeah, there's the hot potato. #1 team in the nation, assists per game, like I mentioned earlier. Ball moves at hyper speed, and then you get those type of step downs. When the ball moves that fast, the 2 away has time and room to set his feet. This time it's Michael Long. First half, they couldn't find the back of the net. They're 4 for 15 shooting. The third quarter, 6 for 11.
And when Connor Busick talked about flow, that's the example. When you plug in tape of this Cornell team, that's the goal you see. Time after time after time. Unselfish.
5 in a row. 6-1 Cornell since halftime. What's changed?
I think it's their ball movement. I think in the first half they had a little bit too much in terms of longer carries. This time it's right out of the restraining box with Hugh Keller, and then it's hyperspeed ball movement to Walden getting his feet set. Staub in transition, and these you hit. There's no goals here that look the same. Everyone is kind of feasting off a variety of ways offensively.
And Quint, we talked about this all week. Penn State has been winning despite Jack Brassian struggling. He's 5 for 15 now.
And what changed is Cascadon winning faceoffs. So when there was a possession disparity early in the game, Penn State winning ground balls and faceoffs, they held their own. And in fact, they had the lead. When you even up possessions against Cornell or you fall behind them, you're toast.
Winner of this game plays Monday for the national championship. Penn State has never played in the championship game. Cornell, since going back-to-back in 76 and 77, they have lost 5 times in the national championship. In 78 against Johns Hopkins in the championship, Cornell had a 42-game win streak, longest in Division I, and then caught the front end of a Hopkins three-peat. Winner will get Maryland and Syracuse on ESPN2 coming up next. That's our second semifinal.
They didn't lose those 5. Some of them, they got their hearts broken by that team right there. We'll see in the second game against Maryland, Syracuse Orange in 2009. It was one of the most devastating losses we've seen in championship history.
It was on this field. Cornell had the ball with less than 30 seconds to go and a 1-goal lead. All they had to do was clear. Syracuse was able to ride it back. Matt Abbott to Kenny Nims off the stick of Roy Lang, the Cornell defender, for the game-tying goal. And then Cody Jamieson won it in overtime. Monday at 1 Eastern on ESPN, the national championship game here in Foxborough. And for more information, go to NCAA.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. The face-off battle continues to tilt Cornell's way.
Little zone defense from Penn State here. Down 4. Time's not on their side, but they had to do something to change it up.
Now they've come back in this tournament, trailed in the fourth quarter against Colgate, down 6, and they knocked off Notre Dame in the second half. That's a turnover. Long wanted Goldstein.
A lot of times you'll think, oh, you're down 4. Is this the time for zone? The answer is yes. They were down 6 last week to Notre Dame, and then they employed the zone and frustrated the Irish, and it allowed them to come back.
Yeah, the difference, Quint. Cornell's got a stretch shooter like Kelleher that Notre Dame didn't really have last week.
Yeah, Cornell's a team terrific with the extra man. That usually correlates to being a good zone offense, but they got the pieces, whether it's Dalton or Firth on the inside. Goldstein as a feeder. Long is a really intelligent player. CJ can beat you in so many ways. This is a Cornell team that's probably going to be highly successful against the zone in the long run.
Final 40 seconds, quarter number 3. After a 5-goal burst in the second quarter, Penn State has scored just once in the third, and they've watched Cornell take the lead, and that lead is mushroomed to 4. Peden, goal line extended, skip pass to the far side. Lehman, dangerous pass in the middle, and trying to make that through pass, a lot of congestion. Walker Wallace has it for Cornell. They've got a chance in the final 10 seconds. Staub dumps it ahead, Gilmartin. Goldstein to a cutting Gilmartin, missed him. The old give and go, and we go to the fourth quarter. Cornell 15 minutes away from getting back to the national championship game they played on Memorial Day in 2022. Does Penn State have one more Magic May comeback? We'll find out.
Lowe's knows less time on chores means more time for what and who you love. We're offering great deals on Whirlpool appliances that are made to handle the housework for you, so you can get back to the things, places, and people that matter most. Shop Memorial Day deals now at Lowe's. We help, you save.
The all-new Infiniti QX80, a 450 horsepower twin-turbo beast of luxury. Invest in an Infiniti during the once-in-a-springtime event. We won't raise the MSRP on any vehicle before June 2nd.
The NCAA, driving change to do more for today's student athletes. The NCAA programs deliver $4 billion in scholarships every year. Those D1 scholarships are now guaranteed. Health and well-being services are mandatory. Student athletes get tutoring as well as financial literacy coaching because almost everyone is going pro in something other than sports. The NCAA, driving change to do more for today's student athletes.
A large touch.
You find yourself.
Bleu de Chanel. At Macy's, the fragrance destination.
Coach, you told me at half offensively you needed to find a rhythm. Safe to say you did that on a 5-goal run. How do you close out the fourth quarter?
We got to keep doing the same things. We got to pick the ball up off the turf. We got to finish defensive possessions, and I think we'll be in a good spot.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Connor Busick, 31 years young, originally recruited to Cornell by Jeff Tambroni, the current Penn State head coach, who spent a decade in Ithaca, took Cornell to 3 national semifinals and a national championship game in 2009. Right now it is Busick, though, getting the best of Tambroni, who, by the way, never coached Busick, but did recruit him to Cornell. And faceoffs have been a big reason Cornell has seized momentum. Cascadden getting the better of the freshman Gills. He does so again. Cornell has won 13 of the last 16 after Penn State won the first 4.
Dominating on the ground balls, too. Owned in the first quarter, no longer.
Look out here. Walker Wallace. Frasian gets a piece. Now Wallace, another guy who can score 6 career goals, 3 this season.
It was interesting last week against Richmond. Cornell doubled up Richmond on ground balls. This is a team that is relentless when the ball's on the rug.
Zone defense again from Penn State.
How does Cornell attack?
I was talking to Connor Busick about it yesterday. He wants guys to press the seam, draw the double, and then kick it, attack the weak side of the formation. You got to get a defensive reaction to like right there with Kelleher. Then they swing, and they'll attack the far side.
Frasian got his big goalie stick on it. So the zone defense coming up for Penn State.
But Cornell has all the ingredients to be a zone buster. You have Firth and Dalton inside. Those are two Canadian finishers. You have Goldstein as an elite passer. Wing shooters in Long and Kirst, and then Kelleher up top. Like, pick your poison. You want to play tight inside zone, you got to deal with those wing and perimeter shooters. If you don't, it's the Canadian inside guys.
Jeff Tambroni needs some answers on offense. And I'm thinking maybe some invert game where they take their midfielders and do some picks behind the net.
Amon. Well, here's Matthews. He's got 3 goals for Penn State. He's been the bright spot offensively. Lehman trying to get to the middle. Long had the game winner against Cornell in the regular season. That time he just beat Wyatt Nust. It's 10-7. Can that be the spark for Penn State?
Could have been a game breaker for the 6'7" monster, Walker Wallace. He's got time and room and giddy up with that 6-foot pole. Frassion gets a piece and then the post. That is a save that creates this.
Watch this subtle little wing dodge pick set by Lehman. And you see Long goes on top of this. The defender, Gilmartin, goes underneath. What does that create? Well, enough separation to free your hands up for the shot. When you're defending a pick like that, you either can go on top of it or underneath it, and the offensive player is reading accordingly.
Anish, you were asking, what does Penn State have to do? They've had multiple opportunities, and they've cashed in on some on that high wing area, like the 10 o'clock, the 9 o'clock area. You saw Traynor, you saw Peden, now you see Long. That could be a soft spot for them.
Another face-off win for Cascadon.
He's a hero. He's a hero today. He's got good handle. He's got a goal, few turnovers.
Remember, Cascadon wore the brunt of the Cornell loss to Penn State. He was called for that 2-minute non-releasable penalty near the end of regulation, which opened the door for Penn State to come back from 4 down late in that game. Nittany Lions would eventually win an OT.
More zone defense from Penn State.
Goldstein over to Firth. Former Ivy League Rookie of the Year, now a sophomore. Kirst has been quiet today without a point. Long to Goldstein. Kelleher, big game for him. A missile that skirts wide. He heard the ahs from the crowd when he released.
Pre-shot clock era. Going into zone in the 4th quarter, down 3. It was the kiss of death. You still have a chance with stops here in zone.
It's a very good point.
Shot clock inside of 20. Firth with a step down look. Aldridge got the backup. Penn State ball. Now, the story that emerged from their comeback win against Notre Dame was when they were down 6 goals in that 3rd quarter. Franco Frassion, the father of Penn State goalie Jack Frassion. Franco is known as the Persian Panther. Sprinkled holy water on the Penn State players on the Nittany Lions sideline. And that spurred the comeback. That's how the story goes. Matthews, he's showing off. He's showing off alchemy from the Canadian.
Not again.
The holy water strikes again.
This is absolute madness. We are. All rise. Liam Matthews with not 1, but 2 insane BTBs. The location, the snap, and the top hand quickness of this banger take your breath away.
It's his second 4-goal game of this tournament, and Dana Boyle, you talked to Franco Frassion earlier this week.
I talked to him this morning, Anish, and he told me, in fact, he's bringing the holy water, and he made sure to get my attention pregame to show me. He sprinkled a little holy water on me. I don't know what that says about me and my performance of the game, but certainly seems to work here today for Penn State.
Matthews has been lights out, 4 for 6 on the afternoon. The rest of the team, 4 for 16. Feed him in the paint.
Mullins wins the faceoff. Over to Lehman. Penn State can feel the pendulum swing.
Isn't this game beautiful, though?
Tremendous.
Lacrosse gives us these types of runs. You saw it last night in the women's semifinal. Northwestern looked like they were toast. Down 5 goals in the fourth to win by 1. You're never out of it in this game.
At some point, Quint, though, the Stars need to step up. Trainer and Kirst both have been quiet. Nust with a big save on the shot by Wallstrom. Gilmartin steps across midfield. Trainer only has the 1 goal. The Air Trainer goal, and C.J. Kirst has been held scoreless.
I'm less concerned about Kirst being held scoreless than I am about Trainer. I just don't think Penn State has the offensive firepower to win a game of this magnitude if Matt Trainer doesn't have a decent day.
Tomorrow, noon Eastern on ESPN, Women's Lacrosse Championship, Northwestern and North Carolina.
They're playing 5-on-5 right now.
Hangman over by the bench, in front of the Cornell bench. Gilmartin's going to run off.
Kirst up top. Save Frassian. Picked up by O'Connor.
Think of Franco's nerves right now.
He's got numbers.
Over to the wing. Trainer. The crowd roars. Penn State within 1. Maybe there's something to that holy water after all.
You play defense. Great double team. Forces the ball out of the Stars' pocket, and your goalie stands tall. But what was magical here was the handle. O'Connor with smooth hands. Aldridge, eyes up.
Here's the suddenness I mentioned in the open. This is what I love about Matt Trainer's stroke. It's catch and the swooping release in 1. Quint, you wanted 22 to step up. There it is.
The succession of alphas on offense in State College has been impressive. Grant Ament, TJ Malone, now Matt Trainer. That's Socrates to Plato to Aristotle, the lacrosse version. Huge face-off here. Rain starting to pelt the turf at Foxborough. Now the wings get involved. Cornell able to scoop. Cascading the other way. Rain coming down harder. Eddie Rahill backs up. Now the great C.J. Kirst.
This is 2 games in a row that the Penn State zone defense allowed their offense to come back. They believed in it. They didn't flinch.
Kelleher to Michael Long. Back to Goldstein. Feed to Kirst. Frassian, I'm not sure he saw it, but he got a piece. Timeout. Connor Busick to salvage the possession.
That is a monster timeout. He had 2. He wants to keep 1 in his back pocket for late in the 4th quarter, Anish.
We're shaping up for another frantic finish in a postseason defined by May Madness.
At Ace, explore the full lineup of Weber grills. The Weber Spirit Gas Grill, Searwood pellet grills for searing and smoking, and the rust-resistant Weber Slate Griddle. From burgers to breakfast, Ace is the place for your perfect Weber grill.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Still have moderate to severe ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease symptoms after taking a medication like Humira or Remicade? Put them in check with Rinvoq, a once-daily pill.
When symptoms try to take control, I got rapid relief with Rinvoq. Check.
When flares tried to slow me down, I got lasting remission with Rinvoq. Check. And many were in remission, even at nearly 2 years.
And Rinvoq helped visibly reduce damage of the intestinal lining. Check.
Rapid symptom relief, lasting remission.
And visibly reduced damage. Check.
Rinvoq can lower ability to fight infections. Before treatment, test for TB and do blood work. Serious infections, blood clots, some fatal. Cancers including lymphoma and skin, serious allergic reactions, GI tears, death, heart attack, and stroke occurred. CV event risk increases in age 50 plus with a heart disease risk factor. Tell your doctor if you've had these events: infection, Hep B or C, smoked, are pregnant or planning. Don't take if allergic or have an infection.
Put UC and Crohn's in check and keep them there with Rinvoq.
Ask your gastroenterologist about Rinvoq.
You've earned this, so hold it up high. You handle chaos with composure, because everything you do behind the scenes sets the stage for their big day. You are a fighter, and this is your reward. Modelo, the mark of a fighter.
You might be dreaming of ending the drought. You might believe good things come in threes. All that matters now is winning this game. The Western Conference Final, Sunday at 3 on ABC and ESPN+.
Cornell up by 1. CJ Kirst with his best opportunity of this entire day. Watch this bounce shot closely. Jack Frasian's a master of making kick saves. This ball just glances off the sweatpants, almost like his right hamstring, and the English causes it to miss the net between the goalie's legs, but doesn't go in. Watch. Boom. Sometimes you get lucky when you're a keeper, but Frasian, great body control, and the sweats pay off.
Yeah, that's dangerous on a lot of levels.
It's a game of inches, but it was CJ Kirst's best look of the day as a cutter. We've been calling for that. He is an elite cutter away from the ball.
This zone has flustered Cornell. Connor Busick used the timeout. Shot clock now at 20. Here's Kirst. Kelleher can be a zone buster. Shot clock at 10. Goldstein. That's a turnover, over and back. Quick restart. Here comes Penn State. No whistle there.
Trailer.
Leary back to Lehman.
Penn State's had success dodging from that right wing area and then the inside shooting ability of Liam Matthews.
Penn State in the fourth quarter last week and today, shooting 8 for 12. They trailed by 4. Chance to tie. Trainer had the last one. He's got 2. Matthews has 4, including a couple that were pure sorcery. Wallstrom. Now Lehman looking to get top side. Shot clock at 20. Matthews against Davis. Here comes Trainer now. Spins it back to Matthews. Matthews, bouncer. Missed the cage. This is a big ground ball. I think Cornell's going to have it. No, they say Penn State ball. Lehman was closest where and when the ball went out, according to the official.
I think the Cornell defender was outside of the field of play.
Stick check, loose ball, shot clock violation. Cornell gets it back. Charlie Box across midfield. It was 10-6 Cornell at the start of the quarter. CJ Kirst today 0 for 5. 2 turnovers, 1 ground ball. Kelleher using the pick. Kirst, slight hesitation. Had the left hand, instead gives it up to Firth. Long, the skip pass. Kelleher, step down, missile. A hat trick for Hugh the Hammer.
having a day, Hugh Kelleher, but it starts with the defense. Lehman enjoys the pick, trying to get top side, and all of a sudden that window closes. Excellent double team.
On the other side, there's two ways to get Big U popping. One is through the substitution game, head of steam. The other, feet set. That is a big boy whip. I love the release on this too. Catches and just lets it fly on Frazion, who's got no shot at that heat.
Set.
Gil Martin, the ground ball off the faceoff. Cornell with a 2-goal lead. And C.J. Kirst, who has a 65 consecutive game point streak, second longest in the history of the Ivy League, behind only former Cornell great Rob Pennell. So far today, 0 points, no goals, no assists.
And his 76 goals on the season, only 6 shy to tie Miles Thompson and John Reese at 82 for the most prolific season from a scoring perspective.
Well, it's fascinating. Penn State beat Cornell the first time. Jack Traynor didn't play. Kyle Lehman didn't play. Frazion did not play well. And now you got Cornell leading Penn State in a game where C.J. Kirst has double bagels.
If Cornell holds on, and CJ's asked about it post-game, I guarantee he'll say, I could care less. I'm playing on Monday.
Yep.
That's the only thing that matters for this program. 1977. They won it in 2025.
Kelleher, here's Kirst. There's the double. He fires, missed the cage, the back up to Long. Shot clock at 11. 2-goal lead for Cornell, 4.5 to go. Semifinal number 2, Pitt, Syracuse, and Maryland.
They're going to just dirt this ball in the corner. They've already subbed.
They might get their long pole a shot. Looked like that might have been plan B. 50 Walker Wallace, certainly capable of cranking. Penn State's done a pretty good job against the Cornell Ride today.
If I'm Penn State, I am finding 22. He's shown me over his career, and now as a senior, that he can take over moments like this. You put on the tape last week what he did against Notre Dame. The 6 goals, the majority of them unassisted.
And 5 in the second half.
He can win his matchup, and here he is.
He gets a pick from Amon. Wallstrom plays it to X, and Lehman defended by Staub. Amon has a short stick matchup, shakes Bozzi. Up top, Traynor, spin cycle, fires with the left hand, shot blocked, Staub off the ground. Cornell ball, 3:21 to go. Davis tight ropes the sideline.
I thought Traynor was so effective last week, and this week when he was dodging, when he was getting to the middle of the field, they flushed him to his left hand on that last take, lost his angle, and then shot it into a slew of congestion.
3 minutes to go.
Keep attacking if you're Cornell. You learned a lesson earlier in the year against Penn State. You got to finish, and in the shot clock era, yeah, you go slower, yes. Use the full allotment, but keep attacking.
Ryan Goldstein, one of the top assist men in the country. Firth against the short stick Leary. Kirst setting the pick.
Hangman situation.
Now they got a matchup for Kirst. Kirst free with the left hand. Frazion the veto. 8 saves for Jack Frazion.
What a play by Parnham, throwing his body in front of that, not trying to rely on his stick to get that grounder and scoop it up.
Penn State's got 1 timeout left. Coach Tambroni's got to use it wisely.
Penn State waiting to get its personnel on. Now they finally do. We have not seen much of Hunter Aquino today. Amon sets the pick for Traynor. Draws the slide. Amon whiffs. Big ground ball again. Amon in trouble. Amon and Gilmartin. Gilmartin punches it ahead.
Nice.
Picked up by Long with 1:40 to go, and Cornell's got a timeout if they need it.
That's a hard hat play by Gilmartin.
Keep it alive. Keep it alive. He swats that ball to a teammate. Their fans immediately recognize it. Let me tell you, the folks up in Ithaca, they know lacrosse. They know that a little play like that's going a long way.
Goldstein splits the double. Topside scores. But was timeout called beforehand? I believe it was. A timeout called with 1:20 to go. Kark brought up the hard hat. You see the number 21 on Connor Busick's hat. That goes back to former captain George Boiardi, who was struck in the chest with a ball during a game in 2004. Boiardi collapsed and died. No one at Cornell will ever wear Boiardi's 21 again. His locker was never reassigned. The number is on the hard hat. The big red. They take the hat with them wherever they go. Even Jeff Tambroni, who was the head coach for Cornell when it happened, he keeps a picture of George Boiardi on his desk. There's a great book by Cornell alumnus John Gordon, The Hard Hat, 21 Ways to Be a Great Teammate. That player, that number, that's the soul stone of Cornell lacrosse.
That was the type of play that George would routinely make that you saw from Luke Gilmartin. Those tough grounders, those gritty plays. And it's been 21 years since Cornell lost George Boiardi. And they've lived with him in their spirit, day in and day out.
And here it plays out. Look at Gilmartin. Second effort. Listening to Michael Long, who's probably calling for it. And he swats it forward. The traits, the characteristics of George Boiardi have become the lifeblood of the culture for Cornell.
All right, a minute 20 to go. Cornell can't exactly run out the clock given the shot clock differential. So Penn State, they've got to get the ball back. How?
You got to abandon the zone. The zone allowed you to get to this spot to make it a game in the fourth quarter. But now time's not on your side.
They're going to go for it. Yeah, they're going to go for it.
Yeah, you got to. There's 58 seconds left in the shot clock. You go zone, Cornell will blitz that shot clock. You got to double.
Look, this is a dangerous double right off the whistle. C.J. Kirst has an angle on the goal. He could shoot this right away. Jack Frassian is covering Liam Matthews right in front of the net.
But it's a two-goal lead.
With a two-goal lead, you got to do this right away. But the net is empty for Kirst.
They'll pass on the shot instead. He makes the long journey. Shakes Ross. Cornell can kill some more time now. Two defenders come out near midfield to meet Kirst. Tireless motor. Cornell doesn't have a timeout. Kirst about to go out of bounds. Firth, the bailout, the shot on goal.
It's a reset.
He'll stay
it's a reset
with Cornell.
That was the best miss you could ask for if you're Cornell. They haven't reset the shot clock yet. I thought Firth shot that ball and it hit a defensive play.
Well, did it hit the goalie? That's the question. Did it hit the goalie?
That should be a reset for Cornell. It'll be their ball in the corner with a fresh clock, and this is a good part of the field. Watch the save. Clearly a save. No, it hit the post, actually. It hit the post, which is a reset as well. So Cornell ball in the corner. This is a great spot for Penn State to double, to do a pinch double team.
And the pinch works really well there because you're not worried about the open goal.
Right, now who's ever got Frassian has got to be more active. They've been putting him on Firth. You may want to substitute some faster personnel onto the field if you're Cornell. Someone like Waldman or Luzzy who can run, and Frassian can't keep up with them.
That's a good point. I also play a little cat and mouse game if I'm Cornell here. I start with Frassian closest to the goal, and then once the whistle blows, I sprint high to get him away from the goal area.
Referee's looking at the video, Anish. It looked like it hit the butt end of the defensive player's stick. That should be a reset. That was O'Connor, 42, who made a great stop.
Officials still looking. Dana Boyle is down there as well. Now we'll get the call.
There's a 29 on the shot clock. Actually, it's going to be there's a 30 on the shot clock, 53.9 on the game clock. Okay.
Shot clock stays where it's at.
After reviewing for time, 52.9 on the on the game clock, 30 on the shot clock. It'll still be Cornell's ball.
So that is no shot clock reset there, Quint. It hit the defender. You said you saw it go off the pipe?
No, it hit the defender's butt end, but he's in the crease in a goalie posture. And maybe that's the semantics of the rule, but that's the definition of a reset shot clock. And those rules need to be adjusted.
Cornell still has it. They added a second to the shot clock. Kelleher trying to Amtrak his way through two defenders. Keeps possession. And Cornell can bleed more clock with this 2-goal lead. Now Frassian back in cage. Cornell's just going to kill this clock if Penn State can't get it back. Gilmartin's pass picked off. Frassian up ahead to Aldridge. They still have time. 25 seconds. Aldridge can score in transition. His pass tipped by Davis. The takeaway by Cornell. They're 20 seconds away from playing for a national championship. Staub heaves it toward the heavens. The Big Red, hold on. They do it with grit and toughness and ground balls. And Cornell, the #1 seed, will play for a championship on Monday.
They're finding ways to win ugly. The nation's leading scorer, slam dunk to win the Tewaaraton Trophy. At the end of the season, C.J. Kirst, all-time leading goal scorer in the history of Division I lacrosse. He had nothing today, 0 and 0. But it was the ground balls, it was the gritty play, and it was a pursuit of excellence from end to end, and to chase a championship for the first time since 1977. That's what lived within all these Cornell players today.
The 1970s saw Cornell win 3 national titles, 71, 76, 77. They played for a 4th in 78. Both of these teams have had a lot of heartbreak on the big stage. Penn State lost on a crease call that went against them because of no replay in 2023. Cornell, if the game had gone 2 more minutes in 2022, they might have taken down Maryland.
And that Cornell senior class experienced that. They have been there, and this is where they've wanted to be. They're exactly where they belong. Hugh Kelleher, the hero with the hat trick. It was a 6-1 third quarter. They blew it apart. They went in the locker room. They figured it out offensively. And I got to tell you, their defense was pretty stout throughout. So Cornell, they got their day off. The seniors have been through this. The logistics of this weekend, the recovery that goes involved, the scouting that's going to be needed to face their next opponent, whether it's Syracuse or Maryland.
13 straight wins for Cornell, 17-1 on the season. The Big Red avenged their lone loss in 2025, and they have now set a new program record for wins in a season. Hugh Kelleher is our Capital One player of the game, and he is standing with Dana Boyle.
Hugh, you just told me you're gassed. How do you best describe the pace of that game?
Definitely fast-paced towards the end. Needed to grind every possession out. That's the type of team Penn State is. They're a great team. And came down to the wire. Definitely gassed right now.
You positioned you and your teammates to play in a national championship game on Monday. How was this team playing so inspired?
It's just been everything that we've been through as a team. The seniors on this team, we got so many. Everything that we've been through, the ups and the downs. We're ready, we're battle tested, and it showed today.
Congratulations. Go catch your breath.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hugh the Hammer, 3 goals and an assist. And on a day when C.J. Kirst had maybe the worst game of his career, no goals, no assists, we saw that Cornell is a complete team.
A first for Kirst. I don't think he really cares. We get to see him on Memorial Day. And it's been, nearly 50 years for Cornell. It's going to be special. All the dinosaurs will be out for that one.
Syracuse and Maryland have taken the field. They're up next in semifinal number 2. The sun peeking out from behind the clouds. The rain has subsided. Cornell holds off Penn State. They will face either the Orange or the Maryland Terrapins on Championship Monday. We still have one more semifinal here in Foxborough. For Dana Boyle, Quint Kesnick, and Paul Carcaterra, I'm Anish Shroff. Now let's join Chris Cotter and Matt Ward for this NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championship Studio Update.